Back on Sports Overtime, Bruce Martin joining us to break down the Grand Prix from this weekend. And Bruce, when we spoke earlier this week on This Week in IndyCar on Fox Sports Now, you gave us a pretty darn good podium and almost came to fruition.
Well, I said Alex Palou, Christian Lundgaard, and Graham Rahal. I got two of those three names right. The first name ended up fifth, so he wasn't too far out of it. I think the big surprise of that race was the perfect combination of Alex Palou and Chip Ganassi Racing made a rare mistake by not entering the pits when Alexander Rossi was having the local yellow, which has turned into quite the controversy, by the way. If he had pitted while the pits were open before the full course yellow, he would have probably maintained the lead. Instead, he had to go all the way to the back of the field. Still drove his way up to a fifth place finish. That's pretty impressive.
It's no surprise to see a great race from Alex Palou in spite of that mistake, but a tremendous race from Christian Lundgaard. He capitalized when the window was open and made a heck of a pass on David Malukas to get his second career IndyCar win.
Well, as I said, Christian Lundgaard didn't just win that race, he earned it. That battle that he had with David Malukas on the pass was aggressive, it was fierce. It's just what you want to see in a race-winning pass, and all credit to Christian Lundgaard. He loves this track. In 2021, he made his IndyCar Series debut on this race course. Not only he earned a career that day, an IndyCar career that day in 2021. Since that time, this has been one of his better courses, but he hadn't won a race until Saturday. That was his first victory on the IMS road course in 9 attempts. He now has 2 IndyCar wins.
We can still call him Little Dave right now, but maybe not for too much longer, because as David Malukas said, once he wins a race, that name goes out the window, and that could be pretty soon.
The great thing about that race was there was a lot of action, and if you weren't entertained by that race, and I don't know what to tell you, it was a really good battle. A lot of times when those two started fighting out, you didn't know who was going to win the race. You didn't know whether they were going to take each other out. But I really thought in terms of action, that was one of the better Sanzio Grand Prix at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It had a surprising outcome because everybody thought Alex Palou was going to win the race, but it also had its share of controversy with Alexander Rossi coming to a stop on the front stretch. They decided to call local yellow instead of a full course yellow. He was infuriated with that.
Yeah, let's unpack this a little bit more, because how does that happen? How does the race stewards not throw a full course yellow when there is literally a car stalled out on the main stretch and cars passing it at 170 miles an hour?
I think they thought that he was in a safe enough place where all the drivers coming out of the final turn could see him, and they wanted to keep the pits open long enough for the green flag pit stop to finish so that nobody fell at a disadvantage. But Alex Palou and Kyle Kirkwood didn't pit. They were running first and second, and that was a mistake that cost both of them a chance at winning the race. I can understand Alex's frustration with that, and there hasn't really been a clear communication yet as to why IndyCar made that decision, but it sets a precedent that I'm not so sure is a really good one in that situation, because it is a little bit of a dangerous area, the front stretch of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There's no runoff there. He's parked up against the pit wall.
And Alexander Rossi took every opportunity to also question the state of the hybrid unit for IndyCar and the quality of the racing. And that has been something that we have seen from him 1 or 2 times. No time to get your thoughts on that. Maybe a little bit later when we come back to you later this month. But that's Bruce Martin. You can check out all his work throughout this month. Pit Pass Indy, presented by Penske Truck Rentals. We'll be right back on Sports Overtime.